This is a super special video because it is the last big news video of the year where I'm covering the actual campaigns that are going on right now. There's a lot that are ending kind of this week, and then there's not really a lot coming up until the next year, which is why I'm going to be doing my big 2024 campaigns video. So stay tuned for that. Of course, it's going to be huge, but for now, let's focus on everything that's kind of wrapping up towards the end of the year. All right, so today's going to be a fun video and I hope you enjoy it. Of course, it's always cool to see how the year ends, what that looks like, and then we can look forward to next year. And that's going to be super fun. Of course, all the holidays are coming up, so we're all going to be super busy, but I'm going to keep it fun here with some top 10 stuff like that, of course. Now, before we get into the news video portion of this video, I do want to thank my sponsor of today's video, Into the AM. I'm wearing, of course, a jacket right now, but they have one of the coolest sales I've ever seen them do. It's different than anything else they've done. Oh, and of course, shirt too, right? I mean, come on, guys. You guys know I wear this stuff all the time. It's so comfortable. It's amazing. So they have an 80% off cyber sale that's going out. It's ending right now. Okay, so you have a very limited time. So there is a link down in the description below, and you can save a 10% off on top of that using my code. That's of course there. But what I wanted to point out here isn't so much the 80% off cyber sale here, but the free shirt you can get. Dear Lord Almighty, look at this. You can use the code FREEMONTH, and with that, you can get your first month free. This is a monthly t-shirt club. Essentially, you'll get 12 awesome shirts out of the year. They are unique designs like this one, as you can see, Comic Dissolve there, that you get for $14.95, which is a very nice, super duper quality shirt, unique design. Not a lot of people are going to have it. You're going to love it, I'm sure. And you can get the first month for free. That's a free shirt, guys. That's pretty freaking awesome. So again, check that out, of course, again, in the description below. And if you do want to grab some things, again, go ahead and take a look there. Of course, it's going to be awesome. Now, let's go ahead and get started in some of these updates. All right, now the first thing I'm going to be showing off is actually the end of a campaign. This is DCeased, a Zombicide game. The second Zombicide game in like 6 months time. So they were spamming this a little bit. I think they just really wanted this to be the end of the year one. And I think it was kind of hurt by, first of all, it's not Marvel, it's DC, or it's DC, which isn't quite as popular, especially with the greater audience. Secondly, it's more limited because it doesn't look like DC allowed them to do a zombie mode. And then thirdly, again, this is now the second in the same kind of style where it's superheroes, and they just had one before this too. So it had a lot going for it. It ended up at 2.5 million though, which was it didn't even reach 1 million for a long time. So it definitely jumped up at the end, and then a little, they kind of saved all the good stuff for the end. So just as an FYI, in case either you were just following this or you backed it or whatever, they did the all-in 390, and I already showed you that, but what you didn't see perhaps is some of the very last unlocks they did. So they did stuff like the Penguin, then they came out with Superman with it, and then the Riddler, then Lobo, Shazam. They had Darkseid, Yellow Lantern version with yellow kind of see-through stuff, which is Sinestro didn't even get that, so whatever. Then they came out with Peacemaker, though he has like a dove instead of an eagle, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Gorilla Grodd, and then finally the much asked for Swamp Thing for all heroes playable. That's right, you can play as Darkseid. Pretty darn cool. And then for the enemies, obviously they did Plastic Man, which was a big one. Then they did Zombie Supergirl, Atom Smasher, a giant one again, and King Shark and Doomsday. So again, some very, very special ones, especially those last two were highly requested. It's unfortunate that they didn't do King Shark the exact same sculpt, but not zombie, right? Because he would be doing the same thing either way. So that's pretty great. So they did that. Also, they came out with the Mother Box as well. And they also came out with some cool dice. I don't know if they're going to show that or not. Oh, they also did Crypto, the Superdog, and Superboy. Let me see if I can find the dice for you right here. The Justice dice set are pretty fun. I wish they had done this for Marvel. I'm sure a ton of you guys would have loved it. It's very cool to get these dice, and I could see people using this for all sorts of games as well. So that's kind of fun. Though it is sadly only 6 dice for $15, which is super expensive, considering it costs them almost nothing to do. So, kind of a bummer there, but oh well. Either way, ended at 2.5 million. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that it could have reached higher? Do you think that's actually pretty impressive for it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Now, moving on from that, we have Horizon Forbidden West, Seeds of Rebellion, over 1 million, over 5,000, almost actually over 5,500, and at the time of recording, 37 hours to go. So this is last minute for you guys, all right? Now, One of the things I wanted to note is they're actually posting a 2 million profit this year, so they're actually doing quite well. Again, as they deliver games, then they are able to finally figure out what the profit was and reap that. Otherwise, it's all debt. So they're delivering several games, and so they get profit on all of those games. They're also making sure that they actually do price things. Well, I'm gonna have a specific video around pricing and what it is a deal and a steal and all that kind of stuff going forward. So stay tuned for that. But suffice it to say, they make sure that they have a good profit and everything. So it's not the best deal you're ever going to see, but it's probably a safer deal than you're normally going to see. One of the things I've done throughout this entire year is cover a whole lot of crap this industry has gone through as it's really struggled post-COVID with these prices and all the other issues that's kind of come up with kind of how they used to run things, where you did get really good deals, but it turns out it wasn't very safe deals, right? Now we're really focusing on companies that can like price accordingly, run a good business and all that stuff. And it looks to me that that's exactly what they're doing. They definitely have other sources of income, whether it's investments, whether it's retail, right? So they have all of that kind of going for them. They even publish other people's games, kind of like low key, and they do some really smart things. Like one of the things that are kind of cool is they don't use normal game fulfillment partners because they obviously are price premium because they're game specific. You can ship all sorts of things all the time already in way more, generic industries. Why do something specific for games when you can actually save some money and deliver your game safely? So if you've gotten stuff from them, you can think that, and they save some money for it. So that's pretty cool. Looking at the Horizon specific Forbidden West Seeds of Rebellion game, like I said, I think they do a lot better with second iterations, and so that's obviously got it going for it, which is kind of cool. If you look at their pledge levels, you can see that it's $145 for the main one, and then the Apex is $315. There's a lot there, of course. They have all these expansions. These did end up being Kickstarter exclusive expansions, so of course there's that, and then of course the stretch goals and stuff like that too. Including the upgrade pack for the original. So if you have that, obviously you get a lot more from it, which of course is kind of nice. Now, if you go to the daily unlocks, I've shown off a few of these. They just keep unlocking a lot more of these kind of hunter people, which is kind of cool. They did do a new game mode that they started to do in the dice, another game mode, another hero, another game mode. So they're doing all this kind of stuff like this, capture the flag. So all these kind of alternative ways, flips around that. They do have a nice coin that they have now, a metal coin. Obviously, this is a really cool new arena boss that they unlocked. That one's super awesome. I do dig that. And then, of course, that upgrade pack. Now, for the optional buys, you get the super cool turtle thing for the desert expansion. So that's a lot of fun. That's a new one there that I hadn't shown. I'd shown the lowlands before, so you've kind of seen that. There's the sky one. I think I may have shown this before. So it looks like a lot of fun. They definitely focused on that. And I love the renders, by the way, because they look closer to like a 3D prints and like some highly textured kind of whatnot. Now, again, the mini size and all that, just keep in mind what everything's kind of looking like. But their minis looked good from what I saw from the original one, so that's awesome to see, of course. And again, this is ending, so this is kind of your last chance to be able to get that on Kickstarter. And again, they're at about 5,500 backers. Pretty darn good, I would say. Nemesis Retaliation still has 10 days to freaking go. Dear Lord, they are just, it's insane that they've already reached 6 million from that. Pretty good, right? 25,000 backers just about. So if we're talking about scale of success, like this is in a whole nother league of its own. Over Conan, right? Over SFG, over all of them. AR, Awakened Realms is doing fantastic. Now, if we go here to what they have, obviously we've shown the rewards, about $189, and you get like everything, which is like amazing. If you just need the game, $65 for standard edition. If you want the special edition, $109. Again, kind of a weird number, 109, but whatever. If we go to the stretch goals, that's what everybody's looking at. And of course, they're doing the typical vote and stuff like this. There was some contention, I remember, around like the scientist miniature and stuff like that. This is one that looks like it was picked. And now they're doing the Neo Flesh Cultist. That's like the mech alien kind of stuff going on there. And so they're doing a lot of that. Neo Flesh Twitchling. So they're, getting the different poses of that voting. So a lot of like engagement there, which is kind of cool. They do have a cat die because, of course they do, right? And really that's it for the update. Not a whole lot there when it comes to the stretch goals. Now, if you go to add-ons here, As you can see, you can get the stuff they've had pretty much this whole time. There was no like hidden thing here for them. The only thing hidden was the stretch goals, and that's really it. If you go to the stretch goal spotlight, they do kind of show these off really well. I love the fact that they dive into these fairly deep. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, as you can see, this like Neo Flush thing, certainly different, stands out from the rest by a lot. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's what they're doing. And like I said, they still have like a week left. They're probably the last big campaign to be on here. Singularity is also over here on GameFound. I'm glad to see more companies using GameFound. It's much better than Kickstarter in just about every single way, with only a few drawbacks, nothing major. Oh, almost 200,000. Now you'll notice I'm not backed to this right now. It's because I'm backing it through a retail person that's like doing that, right? So that I'm getting kind of a better deal essentially. So that's why I'm doing that. I'm still getting the game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's exciting. And yeah, and up until then I was doing that. Now they do have a few quotes from Alex now, and apparently I don't get a picture and Leash doesn't get a picture, but Alex gets a picture. So that's kind of fun. He says Singularity is a card game of raw talent. Yeah, because there's no randomness at all. It's very much just your skill versus somebody else's skill at kind of planning and making your deck and doing that kind of stuff, which is kind of fun. They've been doing some cool stretch goals. So if we go down here, you can see here that they've been upgrading stuff like the expansion box thickness. So everybody gets very nice expansion boxes. None of that crappy, boxes that I have to open up, the tuck boxes. New characters in the assembly pack. So it looks like there are going to actually be some good content in here. So that's kind of a sneak on what's coming up. I like seeing that. That'll be kind of exciting to see. They did do all the duplicate common cards. Again, that helps deck building greatly because originally there was only one copy of each one. So cool to see that. And a few other odds and ends, but otherwise doing pretty cool there. Again, just in case you didn't catch it the first time, they did they did get better deals, better quotes for the shipping, right? Especially across Europe, they focused on that quite a bit. But also in like New Zealand and Asia and stuff like that, a lot of better rates here. So that's really great to see. And again, they have approximately 3 days left. So again, kind of your last warning, over 1,000 backers. I think that's pretty cool, especially for a new entry. And it looks like they did a pretty safe campaign, which is good to do. Food Chain Magnate at 3 days left, over 1 million raised. So it did break 1 million off of almost 4,000 backers. Now 3,932 backers. That is pretty darn impressive because if you go to the rewards here, there's 2,715 people that are paying $332 for this game. If this is a remake of kind of a cult classic that was kind of very indie and rustic, or they premium the crap out of it. So a lot of like 3D everything, right? I mean, it just looks super fancy. Of course, it's the best version of this game you can possibly get. There's all sorts of fanciness there. And of course, it does add money. And they're just doing a very safe thing. From my understanding, even the original one, because of kind of how indie it was kind of pricey for what you got too. But this is like a super nice version of it. So you'll definitely enjoy interacting with it. And they did increase the stretch play, so it's now only $66.53 a month for the next, I think, 5 months. Back responsibly, of course, but either way, doing pretty good. And then the other two, less than 1,000 each. So this is like almost 3 times as much as like the other ones. Like it's insane how much, especially with stretch pay, people just go all in, all the time, every day. That's what they do. And that's the message we're sending them. That's what they're getting. And that's what companies will keep doing. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. You guys back what you want to back. It's just kind of interesting to note that across the board. But yeah, almost at 4,000 backers, doing quite good there. Evil Dead 2 is wrapping up. Again, it has only a few days left to go. Over 110,000, almost 120,000 raised. 1,500 backers. I think that's pretty cool. This obviously delivered before, so they're just really kind of saying, hey, look, more people can have it, and you get this cool deluxe edition with red foil text and all these expansions put into one single box. I love that. It adds so much to setup and storage and stuff like that. That's really nice to do. Otherwise, it's the same thing you've kind of seen before, so nothing huge there. If you wanted the upgrade, because there's a few upgraded like cards and I think the rule book, $18. If you want the deluxe edition, $99. Not too bad, I would say. Under $100, about $100 for an established game. You know exactly where you're getting. I think that's pretty good. Star Realms Deluxe Colonial Collection at over 1,000 backers, still 10 days ago. Another one that's going to last kind of a while, but obviously on a smaller scale, 136,000. Now I asked you guys, Should I get this? I really like the Star Wars deck building game, and I understand this plays fairly similar. And you guys said mostly no. Both the foil, because it makes it hard to read, especially when they're already so colorful. So when you're looking at that, it's kind of harder to read. I can understand that. Makes sense. All of the, most of the cards that you're really having to deal with in DC deck building game, which I really enjoy, are like your cards that are foil, not necessarily the cards you're buying. So makes sense that's different. And that there are just better deals if you just want a whole lot of content than this. This isn't exactly getting you like a bajillion things, as you can see. So there's not like actually a whole lot. I mean, you're getting quite a bit here, but this is for people who already have a lot of it, is from what it kind of seems. And that I might be able to get better deals for more elsewhere. So I'll be looking for that because I do love deck building games. Either way, if you want just a really fancy version or a nice storage solution, this is definitely it for sure. And honestly, it doesn't seem that pricey. And if you do like the foil, definitely a plus. Firefighters on duty board game, also wrapping up, 3 days left to go, over 120,000, over 1,750 backers over that. That's impressive. I think they did a pretty nice job for kind of where they started out, because when I first covered them, they were pretty low. If we go to pledge levels, you can see here, $65 for Kickstarter edition. Heck yeah, not bad. But of course, who wants that? I mean, we want everything, right? 65, yeah, 1,600. Do they have an all-in? I don't think they do. So that's where everybody's sitting at, and then they have to do the add-ons for everything, right? And they do have quite a few add-ons, as you can see. So there is that. These are not American sleeves or Euro sleeves, by the way. It's a size thing. The stretch goals, obviously, they've been adding quite a few different modes of play, different options. They now have rescue dogs. Heck yes, they got the dogs unlocked. I'm happy. That's all they really needed. I guess you could get some extremely flammable stuff, but the most important thing is you now get a dog. That's important. And he even, it looks like, has his little tongue out by the looks of it. There's a little kind of edge right there. Love it. I think that's great. So yeah, anyway, yeah, pretty cheap for what it is, I think. Bullet Universe also, again, wrapping up right around the same time. 3 days left to go. 150-ish thousand raised, over 2,000 backers. Not bad for essentially an expansion to an existing game. I think it's cool to see. They decided not to do a whole lot of this stuff, so it's all just here in the story. Kind of a bummer. I wish they had done some headers. The art style obviously is a lot of fun, very colorful, very kind of goofy and silly, as you can see with like the faces of things and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. $35 for the base game. If that's just what you're wanting to get, you can go ahead and grab that. If you want the 2 new expansions, $45. I mean, it's 2 expansions, so it's okay. But ideally, often I want the expansions to be less than the base game. Now, I know this is 2 new expansions, so technically half the 45. However, you're getting them both at the same time, so it almost kind of looks like base game 35. Get the expansions for 45, but you buy them always together kind of thing. So it's kind of silly, right? Base game plus 40. So again, or 80, sorry, not too bad there. If you want the gameplay all in, 140. Now at this point, it is like 5 expansions, something like that. Like it's a lot. Like, so there's quite a bit there. Otherwise, they're $25 a piece. And of course, you get all the art and the card stuff with that. Just note that, again, a lot of the cards are like this. They're very dark and kind of like more abstract versus all the wonderful art that they have. It's not like on every card with that. But I know a lot of people like this. And again, as you can see, I think it's still doing pretty well. Now, I wanted to end this on one thing that I'm looking super forward to. Yeah, this is something that I'll definitely be looking at because it's part of one of my favorite games, and it is part of my wife's favorite game. Conan by Monolith, Red Nails expansion, and Versus mode January 16th. Now, again, I'll be doing a whole video covering a whole bunch of campaigns coming up, so stay tuned for that. Again, subscribe if you have not. I try to get you guys to get in the know of all the cool stuff that I'm looking at on Kickstarter, on GameFound, even on BackerKit. Okay, now this is super cool because of the Versus mode, in my opinion. The Red Nails expansion, obviously great, but I am about ready. I have so much Conan already to just pick my units and actually do like a skirmish fight against my wife. I think that sounds like a lot of fun, or against my son. I know he loves doing that kind of stuff as well. And again, it just allows me to use the whole range. One of the problems with Conan is there are so many expansions and stuff. Not all the minis are used very often, especially some of the stretch goals, even from the original one, like the King Pledge and stuff like that. Now, my understanding is they are, I think, doing the King Pledge and stuff like that again on this as well. So you can get all the old stuff as well, at least a lot of it. Super pumped for that. Highly recommended. It's a fantastic game. Now, That's it for today's video. Again, remember that deal and into the end. Obviously, they make great shirts, great pants, great jackets, great clothing that you guys can really, really enjoy. Save some with the link down below. And that free month, super awesome. Stay tuned for the other videos. Again, got some fun top 10s, got that big 2024 coming, and actually the fundraiser as well. Guys, thank you so much, obviously, for an amazing year, and I look forward to the next one as well, and ending this one with a bang. So let's do that. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye, guys.